Hey, what's up, guys? It's your girl Wolfy, here to share with you a story time that happened back in high school. So, this was in my not senior, this was in my junior year where I was around 16 or something like that, around teenager years, where it's my first time to be age of consent, meaning that it is the legal age to date. And we all know that there's usually a rule around there that you can't date anyone under 18, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. Anyway, this is all in real life what happened. Um, so I remember one day I was in the classroom and this boy, which I will name Xander, would then randomly walk up to me and he would give me a note or a piece of paper that he had feelings for me. And as a naive teenager, I played it off saying maybe he's just being nice or he's friendly. And I think I said something. I don't know what I said to him in the note, but I think I passed it back to him. I didn't like doing note passing because it gets me in trouble. So as you know, in high school or pretty much in any school, I would pretty much be like the quiet one, and I just like stay out of trouble as much as I can. That's my main. I just all my main thing is just like focus on my classwork and then just move on to the next grade or whatever. Like pass my classes, what all I cared about because it was important to me. So yeah, I kind of didn't feel right with him giving me these notes that were so random, and I said okay. And that's when the unexpected happened when he sent me back the note that he passed to me, and it said I think it said in his writing, he said, "I really like you, and I was wondering if you'd like to be my girlfriend." And uh, being a dumb teenager, I thought, well, my older self now would think like, oh, he's being friendly or whatever. But actually, in my teenage years, I didn't realize that he was going too fast, because you should never, and I mean never, ask someone out unless you are like comfortable with that person, meaning that you became friends with that person that you really liked, more than a friend, and then when your feelings naturally come to you along with the person that you're with, naturally your feelings come to each other in time, then it shows that you have a healthy relationship with that person, because that's entirely important to make the relationship good, is to be friends and then taking it slow to where your feelings go from, oh, I feel something about them, and then till eventually officially have these feelings for that person to confess your feelings to. So this guy, Xander gave me that note saying that he wanted me to be his girlfriend. And at first, before I became stupid to realize it, at first I was like, maybe he's being friendly or something. I think that's what I said in my mind. But then my dumb self, like my dumb teenage self, then says, "Yeah, sure. I haven't had a boyfriend before, so sure, I would do it." Yeah, that's when I regretted what happened. So after I said that, Xander, I guess he smiled and thought and figured that he liked how I accepted his offer to have him as my boyfriend. So, uh, so that's when my first dating session started. Let's just say we both left the classroom, and Xander and I were sort of a thing. I mean, I wasn't really into him as much, but I know Xander was, and it felt really awkward and creepy actually. I remember seeing my ex-friends there, and they were like chatting it up, and they saw me with Xander, and I guess they were like, "Huh, that's unexpected. She's with someone, or she's dating someone." And then, so the relationship was okay, I guess you could say, but I wasn't really into him. I don't know why I agreed to be with him. I just didn't know what he was doing at the time. That's what teenagers do. Like, they don't know what you're doing unless you start to figure it out yourself when you get older, if you get what I'm saying. So Xander and I sort of saw Xander as sort of a friend. I didn't see him as like a boyfriend or anything. Like, I didn't call him babe or those like loving words you say to your partner when you love them a lot and shit. So, um, So he offered me like his phone number so that he can text me or whatever, and I'm like, sure. This was like back when I had an iPod Touch. So this is like old school shit. So I had an iPod Touch at the time, so he gave me his number because on the iPod Touch it lets you make calls and text people, but you can't really do anything else on there. So I just thought, okay, I'll just it's sort of like an iPhone sort of, but not really. It's for like music and shit. So I remember I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll text you. I mean, maybe I did text him. I don't know what I said to him, but so after all that, I went to choir class, and he was in the boys' choir. I forget what they're called. Like I think it's called baritone choir or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it's a class full of like boys that do choir. So yeah, he was in. I was in choir. I was in like a choir concert I think we were attending to, and he was there, and he made it kind of awkward that he would ask like why haven't I been texting him, and I was like I could have sworn I had his number and all that stuff. And I remember talking to my mom about it, and she was like, is that the boy you're with? And I'm like, yeah, that's him. But I was hiding the fact that I was a little afraid of him, so I was actually quite relieved that my mom was there because she always likes to attend these things to support me. So yeah. So after I told my mom about him, I could have told her the full story of what really happened with him, but whatever. So after a while of not talking to him, like I guess I didn't have his phone number, I never received any of his texts. Uh, I think we met each other in morning or whatever. Like he said, well, goodbye, beautiful. That's what he said, and I walked away, and I was like, bye. Yeah, I wasn't really into him, as I said, so it's pretty funny. I'm just like, bye. I'm so confused. I don't know you. Why are you so forcing yourself on me? Blah blah. So this is when the emotional and mental abuse started. So I remember back in it was in the morning, everyone's going to class, like it's like a few minutes before class would start. So I was heading to my choir class, it's my first ever period class to go to, and Xander showed up. I guess he was in another class or something. He went to see me, I guess. So he took me to this room that was full of darkness, and I do not like the darkness. It's kind of like uncomfortable and it makes me uneasy, you know. So I was in the dark room that was like near where the choir class was, and he took me there, and I was like, "Are we just playing? Like, are we fooling around, saying like we see you or something like that? You know, kind of like the playful shit or whatever." But no, when I was looking out the class, I noticed that my one of my teachers from the choir class was writing on the whiteboard, like getting ready for the lesson or whatever we were gonna learn, and I was looking through the window until I saw Xander trying to kiss me without my consent. And I remember moving away from that, and I was like, whoa, whoa, okay, no, we're not doing that, no. And I didn't say that out loud. I just like, I was like, yeah, I moved away. Like it was like out of the blue he did that to me, and I was like, yeah, don't do that. So I left the room, and like I left the room in a hurry. I was like, look, I gotta go to class. I'm sorry, and I left. And Xander, I was like laughing, thinking Xander was being funny by like watching from the distance into the room or something, going like, no, come back or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing, but I just like left in a hurry to go to my class. And so after that, we left somewhere for choir, and then I came back on. I think it was like during the second or first lunch period or something like that. Like I came back during lunch, and yeah, I was at a different lunch period. I wasn't used to it, so I was like, huh, this is strange, but okay. So after that lunch period, I went over and I saw Xander, who was waiting for me. Like he was just chilling, eating his food or something, and we were talking a little bit. And yeah, we were talking. Kind of, I still saw him as like sort of a stranger at the time, so I don't know him fully. So I didn't see him as a boyfriend or say, hey, babe, or whatever. Uh, so we went upstairs where there was an elevator thing. The elevator takes you to different like rooms, to different classrooms, because the high school I'm in had like it's pretty big. Like it has like a two-story building, or I mean, yeah, two-story area that has two places for each classroom. And then there's like lower level classrooms you could go that are from outside or something like that. It's a really big high school, so yeah, I'm not gonna say where because it's private. Anyway, um, yeah, so I talked to this guy, and Xander took me inside of an elevator, and I was like, okay, I guess he wants to go somewhere more private so we could talk as friends. And this is where it got a little not really raunchy, but this is where it got a little more traumatizing as I thought. So we went inside of an elevator, and he would start to force himself on me. I was on my iPod Touch texting, like trying not to pay attention to what he's about to do. And I was able to see in the corner of my eye that he wants to hug me and then make out, I guess. Well, not really make out fully, but just kiss me or something. So I was like, okay, a hug. I felt so uncomfortable. Like the hug was awkward. And when we kissed, I didn't at all kiss back because I had no experience whatsoever how to be like in a relationship, how it works and shit. So the naive side was like, okay, I'll hug him, I guess. But so after the hug and the kiss, you have no idea how I felt. Like I felt so scared slash really violated feeling, I guess you could say. And so after the kiss, I remember I was like, I was pretending I liked it, going, whoa, that felt nice or something, but no, I literally was freaking out in my head. I was like, oh God, I feel violated by this guy. Why do you force me to be his girlfriend for so quickly? What the fuck? So, so I remember leaving the elevator super like really like my face was literally on fire, not really like literally on fire, but it felt like it was super warm feeling, and my body was like trembling like crazy. And I escaped to go to my classes because I didn't want to be late, obviously. So when I got to my classes, I was like shaking and my face was burning hot, and I could not tell my ex-friends about this because I just felt like a total snitch, you know, like I did not want to tell them what happened. So I kept it to myself all these years, and until finally, the next day, I think I told my mom about this. I'm not sure if I did. I didn't tell her half of it, but I said that, yeah, this boy was sort of, I think he went too quick on me, or whatever I said. I don't remember exactly. So I remember, so the same time, my ex-friends and I, we usually just like sit in the same spot in the entrance of the school so that we can sit before like during the morning, like before school starts. So we were chilling, chatting a bit, and then just noticed Xander in the corner of my eye wanting to talk to me, and I was like, sure. So I went over. I told my friends like, hang on, let me go talk to him, and I left. Well, I walked over to him. He wasn't too far. He was like a few feet away, and I was like, okay, let's see what he wants. So I went up to Xander and said, hey, and then he's like looking sad as ever. He's like, hey, like here's what he said. He said, hey, I think we should break up. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't like feel any sadness or anything. I was like confused, like, oh, alright. And then Xander just like, I think he said I'm sorry or something, and he just walked away while shrugging his shoulders, like, and he just walks away. And then I was all, well, that just happened. So I walked back to my friends, and I guess one of them asked, like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. I think Xander just broke up with me. And then I think one of my ex-friends were like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I don't feel anything. Like, what do you expect? And that pretty much, and after all that was over, I was officially relieved that he got the guts to tell me that that him and I weren't working out and all that shit. And I was like, when that relationship ended, I literally was like, thank God, in my head, because I was like, I was so trapped with that guy. Like Xander was so, he wasn't like horrible, like he was kind, but just that he made the entire experience like very emotional and mentally abusive, because he did things out of my consent. He did not ask Like, he did not make me comfortable. He didn't, like, let me be friends with him first and then let the feelings naturally come. And that would naturally come to me where it's like, okay, I like this guy. He seems cool. Like, he's done something. Like, he never done anything nice for me, um, officially, because, like, whatever, all that shit that happened, it didn't really help over the time that I had a toxic family life before it all. So it made me, like, in my life, I've been going through a lot of toxic stuff, a lot of like family problems and whatnot, and just having to deal with that, which made everything so worse for me. It has like affected me emotionally, where it's like it made me turn to a toxic person. It also made me like afraid to fall in love with anybody else and whatnot. I think it's the reason why if I ever do have a crush on somebody, it would like I start to act like a totally different person, where I would be like blinded by whatever the person is, like who they truly are, or is blinded will break my heart someday. And it just like after, because I did have a first crush, and I never experienced it before in years because I've been single for so long, and it just like hurts to understand that like my life has been hell and back, and just having to deal with like that kind of relationship, which is unnecessary, where it was like emotional and mental abuse to me, and just dealing with that has really made me change my change my ability to have a relationship with someone, because like it has caused me like I can't flirt with anybody. I also get really scared easily when I talk to a guy, because I'm afraid that he I'm afraid that he might like do the same thing I experienced back in the past, where they would just like force themselves on me, or just like won't agree with what I say or what I would do. And yeah, so I know some men aren't like that, but it means sometimes like the fear that you deal with in past relationships, it just comes back to you when you have a new one and you don't know what to do or how to explain it to your new partner, because you just fear that they might do the same thing to you, even if they say they won't do it. But it's like you have to believe that they are the right person for you. So I have been single for a long time, and that's the pure reason why I decided to be single, because of that story I told you. That's the reason. After being a mentally being after going through a mental and emotional abusive relationship, it in high school, it made me change into an entirely different person. So yeah, um, I'm glad I got to talk about that. It took a lot out of me, but I'm glad I was able to tell you the story of how it began and why it made me always want to be like a single woman and not deal with the whole like not wanting to have a relationship anytime soon. Um, Basically, for me, again, I have been single for my entire life, so I never did experience what it's like to have a real ass relationship with anybody. I know a lot of people say, well, there's VR chat. There's a lot of people that date on there. It's like, yeah, online dating is pretty much bad too. Like, like in real life dating, it's great and all, but sometimes you don't know what the actual person is like unless you get to know them. Like in VR chat, there's a bunch of dating people. There's a lot of people that date on there, and it's like sitting there like, what if they are not who you think they are? What you think they are, and real life, like same with real life dating. Like you don't know what the person is like unless you meet them, like eye to eye or something. So yeah. So there you go. That's the true reason why I've been single for a long time, why I'm preferring it over finding someone, and to why I fear of dating a new person that will not be what I experienced in high school. So yeah. Anyways, I'm glad I got to share this with you. Um, yeah, I'll probably title this something. It has been in my that story has been inside my heart for such a long time, and I've got to get it out of me. This took a lot of courage to talk about and to get out of my chest. So I'm glad I got to. Share it with you now, just to show how much I've changed as a person. So yeah, but if I ever do, and I mean if I ever do end up like randomly finding someone that I didn't expect, and if it goes well, who knows? You never know how a relationship will go unless you stay with that person long enough. So yeah. Anyways, thank you for listening. I'm glad I get to open up to you even more about myself and to share a story that I've experienced in real life. So, hope you enjoy your time or your week, the rest of your weekend. I mean, your weekend, yeah, your Sunday. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And I'll see you guys next time for another video. So, yeah. Bye.